Triarch Stalkers are a form of hexapodal combat walker utilised by Necron Triarch Praetorians in battle. Like an enormous mechanical spider, a Triarch Stalker looms over the battlefield with its multiple slicing limbs and devastating weaponry. Triarch Stalkers are often piloted by a highly ranking Triarch Praetorian and are primarily employed against enemy heavy armour and to provide close fire support to other Necron units. Whilst the Triarch Stalker can mount a wide array of anti-infantry and anti-armour weaponry, it is most commonly employed as a dedicated tank hunter that roams far ahead of the main army. When a Triarch Stalker advances, it does so with speed and surety that belies its jerking gait. Indeed, it can cover all manner of terrain with a deftness and precision seldom found on walkers of less advanced races. Able to navigate dense jungle and mountainous terrain as swiftly and surefootedly as open plains, Triarch Stalkers can easily outmaneuver more cumbersome tracked vehicles, the better to unleash their withering firepower against the thinner armour presented by the target's flanks and rear, as such attacks are often more effective when the enemy is taken unaware. Triarch Stalkers rarely indulge in sustained fusillades. Instead, they prefer to employ hit and run tactics, launching one or two salvos of fire and then skittering away into the shadows before the enemy can react to the threat. On those occasions when a Triarch Stalker is deployed in the heart of a Necron battle line, its main function is to provide close fire support, and is typically equipped with a heat ray, which is a multi-purpose fusion weapon. If an enemy tank stalls the main Necron attack, one focused blast from the Triarch Stalker's heat ray is sufficient to end the threat. Similarly, if a dug-in infantry is hampering the Necron advance, a Triarch Stalker can break the deadlock. The pilot simply sets the heat ray to a dispersed beam and sends clouds of scorching plasma swirling into every crevice to boil the enemy alive. In some battles, the heat ray isn't a required weapon. Instead, they opt for the particle shredders, which function by emitting a stream of minuscule antimatter particles that detonate explosively on contact with matter. Particle weapons are incredibly reliable, needing only enough energy to maintain the containment field that prevents the antimatter from detonating from the weapon's mechanism, which is composed of normal matter. Blasts from a particle shredder can cover a wide area and are effective against both infantry and light vehicles. If they haven't opted to take the particle shredder, the other option is the twin-linked heavy Gauss cannons. Heavy Gauss cannons are devastating weapons that are best used to penetrate heavy armour. They are the same weapons that are mounted on heavy destroyers. Should the Triarch Stalker's firepower prove insufficient for the task at hand, it can instruct nearby Necron phalanxes to add their firepower to its own, and even transmit targeting data to ensure that these volleys are as accurate as possible. Only the toughest and bravest of foes can withstand such barrage, others are driven screaming from the battlefield and mown down by pinpoint salvos. Such a difference as the Triarch Stalker's presence make that habitable foes of the Necrons have learnt to prioritise its destruction. To guard against this, each Triarch Stalker is protected by layered quantum shielding, though a determined assault can breach these potent energy fields. This normally buys the Triarch Stalker enough time to withdraw. With their durability so advanced, Triarch Stalkers are increasingly deployed at the head of the vanguard forces to bear the brunt of the enemy's counterattack, until the main body of the Necron army reaches the battle zone. They are much of a symbol of the Triarch's power as they are deadly war machines in battle. A notable formation used by the Triarch Stalkers are the Lawbringer Phalanx, where the vermin of lesser races run wild. Thorough scouring is required, often on the planetary scale. In such times, the High Adjudicators who guide the Triarch Praetorians in their work will breach the ancient vaults and retrieve an Apotheosis Orb. An Apotheosis Orb is similar to function of a Resurrection Orb, but vastly superior in form and function. Whilst the orb functions, nearby Praetorians can use its energy to infuse themselves and their weapons with fresh strength and resilience. Triarch Praetorians are implacable warriors under normal circumstances. The presence of an Apotheosis Orb transforms them into an unstoppable crusade, only by shattering the leading Triarch Stalker, in whose control panel the Apotheosis Orb is nestled. Can the foe have any hope of victor? A Lawbringer Phalanx formation typically consists of a single Triarch Stalker leading two or more squads of Triarch Praetorians.